So, lads, today we just watched the Fever play a ridiculously good all-around game of basketball. We watched them against a really good Seattle Storm team below them at. And it wasn't like, obviously, this is, sometimes you can have close 20-point games and blowout 20-point games. As much as I say blowout, this was a close game. This was a close game. They just blew them out down the stretch. And yeah, before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. I'm recording this video again from a car on the way back from Music Festival. Thankfully, car's not moving, but the people that I will be leaving with are, they are going soon enough, not driving. So I am currently in the back of the car with like all the luggage, all the luggage from a music festival in a tiny, tiny car. So, yeah, subscribing would be great. Would be absolutely great. But yeah, Lexie Hull she is exactly what the Fever need. She is exactly what the Fever need. And if she can shoot 35% from three, she's a starter next year. She's a starter for the rest of this year. They don't need to replace that small forward position. What has been the weakest spot, what was Christy Wallace for a while? Lexie Hull has made that spot her own, especially closing games. I know, look, today, what was it, 20? She had 24, 22 points. Lexie Hull is not a player that is going to give you that every night. If Lexie Hull is a 9-point per game player, and I'm not joking, 9 points is all you need from Lexie Hull. You have enough from the rest of your team, especially once you sort that power forward position out. I'm convinced after that game, you can at least try to convince a Neko Wumake to come. Will she come? Probably not. You can try to convince a Satu to come. Will Satu come? Probably not. And look, Satu is not in shape right now. It's just kind of hoping the Satu ends up getting in shape in the offseason. So you're looking now, and you're looking at maybe one spot need to be fixed. But the one thing what I will say with Lexie Hull is a lot of people are like, oh, she's this lock-in defender. No, she's not. She is an energy player who draws a lot of charges and can be a nuisance on the defensive end. She struggles to stay in front. She does. She struggles to stay in front of quick guards. So the team does need that really good defender, which is why Celeste Taylor would have been perfect. But it doesn't really matter because when you've got Lexie Hull who runs the floor, like how many easy buckets is Lexie Hull going to get? Like she blew a wide open layup in the last game, but she actually made the open layup this time. A couple of open layups. Like Caitlin Clark will get, if Lexie Hull becomes a starter, Caitlin Clark will get her 6 points a game for just running hard. If she can shoot 1 of 3 threes a game, 33% from three, makes 1 of 3, that means you have to guard her and not leave her wide open. And then runs the floor, runs her ass off and gets 6 points through that a game as a starter. Like that's 9 points. That's 9 points for Lexie Hull. And that is, look, that's all she needs. That's all you need to be like to be worth it. Because with the way the Fever play basketball right now, Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston are going to combine for between 50 and 60 points every game. Every game. And that's going to continue next season. They're going to combine between 50 and 60. If they get you 60, to win a game, you need probably 80. You probably need 80 to win most games. If they give you 60, the rest of you needs to drop 20. And you've got Nalissa Smith who will give you 10. You've got Katie Lou who will give you a few points. Especially with that new power forward in. Maybe if you are, like, for that power forward position, maybe it is more so than anything looking for a lockdown defending, shooting power forward maybe. But, man, I don't know. I just think this Fever team is so good. And I think what Lexie Hull has brought to the Fever team is something that it's desperately needed. This unbelievable hustle player who'll dive in every ball, who'll take... I'm pretty sure, I wouldn't be surprised if she draws 2 charges a game. I know the stat might be skewed from games where she barely played any minutes. But I would say in games where she has played more than 15 minutes, she's probably drawn 2 charges a game. It's incredible, like, how well she does it. She is the only player in this team that can fight around screens. And by the way, Aaliyah Boston on defense, not Ezi Magbagor good as far as her shot blocking, but the way she anticipates where to be on the floor on defense is something that like not a lot of people will appreciate, just how good Aaliyah Boston is at doing that specific thing. But when it comes to the Fever, they've needed that wing. They've needed that Lexie Hull player. And she had a career night tonight. She had an absolutely magnificent game. She had a night that she'll probably never forget. Like, this is somebody who was probably not that far off being cut And the problem is, if you are a Fever, it's almost certain that, like, apparently it's 6 players you can keep. Kelsey Mitchell's a free agent, she doesn't count. You are keeping Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, obviously. After that, who are you keeping? You've got to probably keep Katie Lou's on so much money, but it's not the end of the world. If Lexie Hull can play like this, you just keep Katie Lou. They're friends. Keep Katie Lou. She's not on the worst contract in the W, so you probably protect Katie Lou. You protect Lexie Hull. You protect... I think you might have to protect Temi because she's restricted. I don't know what story is with that. And then I think you try to do whatever you can to get off Dantas. I think Dantas is just not the right fit. And then obviously Erica Wheeler's gone. So yeah, this is a huge, huge addition for... Like, she hit 2 huge threes against the Mercury. And then she goes and hits, 5 today? Like, man, this is the Lexie Hull that she was expected to be. She was drafted like 6th. She was expected to be this player. And then came into the W and forgot how to shoot the ball. She plays 3-on-3, she shoots the lights out. But playing with a Fever, she forgot how to shoot it. Caitlin Clark will find her. That's the one thing I will say, is that they trust Lexie Hull shooting. And the level, how many levels above Christy Wallace she is scary. It is scary how much better she is than Christy Wallace. How Christy sides did not see it. And that's the worst part about this all, is that Celeste Taylor, the ideal lineup would be her, like Katie Lou, Celeste Taylor backing up Kelsey Mitchell for like 10 minutes a game. And even honestly backing up Caitlin Clark, considering the fact she played the 1. The ideal lineup would be just go young. Go young. And by young, not like super young. You have Temi Fagbenle backing up the power forward position when she's healthy. Yeah, Damaris Dantas can play the 5 when she's not. But Temi, Nalissa Smith, and Leah Boston sharing those 80 minutes between the 3 of them. And then you've got Katie Lou, Lexie Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, and Celeste Taylor sharing the 80 minutes between them. Probably you're playing Katie Lou about 10 to 15, but Katie Lou can play a bit at the 4. And then Grace Berger and Caitlin Clark sharing the 1, playing Grace Berger 5 minutes a game. But it's just, you might as well give it to her instead of Erica Wheeler. That's the ideal lineup the Fever could run. And it's a lineup that I think would cause problems. But nobody wants to play the Fever. I'm going to talk about that once I get home. That video will be the first one me back in my setup. Nobody. And I mean nobody wants to play the Fever the first time. The Liberty are probably like, thank God we are so far ahead. Because the only lower team that has a chance of upsetting a better team in the playoffs is this Indiana team. Because when they get hot, they're unguardable. They're just unguardable. With the way they play, with Caitlin Clark, with the talent they have, the fact that they're getting better on defense, when this Indiana Fever team gets hot, nobody can stop them.